Good morning, children. How are you all? Welcome to your EVS class today. We begin with our next lesson, which, as you can see, is adaptation in plants and animals. In this lesson, we will study about how the different plants and animals survive in the different climatic conditions found around the world. So, let us first see the contents of this lesson. Today we are going to study what is adaptation and what is the need for adaptation. Why do plants and animals need to adapt? Then we will take up adaptations of plants and animals in hot and arid regions. Arid regions are the dry regions of the world. We will study about the body adaptations of the different animals and their behavioral adaptations. We will also study about plant adaptations. So first of all, let us begin with the first topic, which is what is adaptation? Adaptation is the process which enables organisms to adjust to their environment in order to ensure survival. This means that in order to live, in order to survive, the different organisms, which includes plants as well as animals, they adjust to their surroundings, to their environment. And this is termed as adaptation. What is the need for adaptation? There are all kinds of environment on earth: blazing hot deserts, freezing cold ice covered lands, hot, wet, humid rainforests, deep oceans, and high mountains. The amazing thing is that in all these environments, we find different types of plants and animals. These plants and animals have managed to survive in places that we humans may find unsuitable. You will find very few people living in high mountains or in the rainforest areas, which are very dense, or in the freezing cold ice covered lands, or in the deserts. But in all of these areas, you will find different plants and different animals. So the areas which we find unsuitable becomes suitable for the plants and animals found in those areas. And how do they survive there? Yes, it is because of the adaptation. Big question is how? And the answer is they have developed physical characteristics or behaviors that help them to live in those conditions. It means they have either developed such physical characteristics, their body has changed, adapted itself, or they have changed their behavior so as to survive in those conditions. Now, let us see the adaptations in hot and arid regions. Animal adaptations. The two main adaptations that desert animals must make are how to deal with lack of water and how to deal with extremes in temperature. As you are well aware, in the desert regions, there is scarcity of water and the temperatures become very hot in the day and cool at night. So the animals have to adapt to both these conditions. Many desert animals avoid the heat of the desert by staying out of it as much as possible. That means during the daytime, they do not come out. They are nocturnal animals. They come out at the night when the temperatures are less. Where do animals in the desert get their water from? Since water is so scarce, most desert animals get their water from the food they eat. Succulent plants, seeds, or the blood and blood tissues of their prey. That means whatever food they are consuming, that will suffice the water requirement of the body. They need not consume water separately. So these are the adaptations that most of the desert plants and animals are done. Now, when we talk about desert animals, the first animal is camel. We immediately think about the camel when we talk about the desert. So camels have many adaptations that allow them to live successfully in desert conditions. The long eyelashes keep sand out of the camel's eyes. Thick eyebrows shield the eyes from the desert sun. A camel can go a week or more without water, and they can last for several months without food as well. Camels store fat in the hump, not water. The fat can be metabolized for energy. That means if the camel does not get food to eat, then the stored fat in the hump can be used for giving energy to it. Unlike most mammals, a healthy camel's body temperature fluctuates. That means it changes throughout the day from 34 degrees centigrade to 41.7 degrees centigrade. This allows the camel to conserve water by not sweating as the environmental temperature rises. So this means when the temperature in the desert increases, the body temperature of the camel also increases, and so it does not sweat and conserves the water in the body. Camels' feet are wide so they can walk on sand more easily. Their huge feet help them to walk on sand without sinking into it. Camels have thick lips so they can eat the prickly desert plants without feeling pain. You know that most of the desert plants have thorns, but the camels can feed on them. So it is because of the thick lips that the camel can eat those plants. The color of their bodies helps them to blend into their environment. Camels' ears are covered with hair, even on the inside. The hair keeps out sand or dust that might blow into animals' ears. Now we see what are the adaptations in other desert animals. Desert animals prevent water leaving their bodies in a number of different ways. Some, like kangaroo, rats, and lizards, live in burrows which do not get too hot or too cold and have more humid, damp air inside. These animals stay in their burrows during the hot days and emerge at night to feed. As I said, they are nocturnal. Other animals have bodies designed to save water. Scorpions and wolf spiders have a thick outer covering which reduces moisture loss. The kidneys of desert animals concentrate urine so that they excrete less water. The next animal that we study in detail is the fennec fox. The large ears of this fox, which are usually 6 inches long, help dissipate excess body heat on hot days in the desert. Their burrowing and nocturnal lifestyle helps restrict water loss. So they live in burrows and they come out at night. Their thick fur keeps insulated them from the cold desert nights. So even at night they do not feel cold. Their sandy fur helps to reflect heat and also provide excellent camouflage. Fennec foxes also have thick fur on the soles of their feet, which insulate against the hot sand of the desert. Now we see the behavioral adaptations of the animals. Behavioral adaptation means actions which animals take to survive in their environment. Nocturnal desert animals keep cool by being active at night, whereas some other desert animals get away from the sun's heat by digging underground burrows. Elephants, ostriches, and jackals feed on a pulpy fruit, naras. It is a wild melon found in the Namibian desert to avoid dehydration. In the Kalahari Desert, antelopes can survive without drinking water and derive moisture from tubers. So they consume tubers and from there only they get their water. The lion, leopard, and cheetah prey on these antelopes and manage to survive on the body fluids of their prey. So these are the different changes in the behavior of these animals which helps them to survive in the desert. Here you can see the picture of the different desert animals discussed right now. Camel, this is the fennec fox. You can see the leopard here. Then here the antelopes, scorpions, snakes. Now we see adaptations in desert plants. How plants adapt to arid conditions. Plants may have thick waxy skin to reduce loss of water and to reflect heat. The example is citrus plants. Large fleshy stems to store water, as you see in the cactus. Thorns and thin, spiky or glossy leaves to reduce water loss. Again, cactus is an example for that. Spikes protect cacti from animals wishing to use stored water. Deep roots to tap underground water. Green stem that produces food for the plant. Now the desert plants may have all or some of these adaptations to survive. To survive, desert plants have adapted to extremes of heat and aridity by using both physical and behavioral mechanisms, much like desert animals. Plants that have adapted by altering their physical structure are called xerophytes. Xerophytes, such as cacti, usually have special means of storing and conserving water. They often have few or no leaves, which reduces transpiration. Pteridophytes are plants that have adapted to arid environments by growing extremely long roots, allowing them to acquire moisture at or near the water table. So in plants, we have two different types, the xerophytes and the pteridophytes. The xerophytes, they store and conserve water by having few or no leaves, and pteridophytes have very, very long roots so as to acquire water. So these are the different ways in which the desert plants survive the desert conditions. You can see here the diagram. Children, please draw this diagram in the notebooks and please write the details. You can see the different adaptations are given here in detail. Some plants have horizontal root stems just below the surface. So that means instead of going deep in the ground, their roots grow horizontally. Some plants store water in their roots, stem, leaves, or fruits. These are called succulents. Seeds can stay dormant for years but can germinate quickly when it rains. Small leaves or spines, glossy and waxy leaves to reduce water loss. Some plants have long tap roots to reach groundwater. So these are the different adaptations you can see here. Now with this we complete today's topic. Your home assignment is you must read the PowerPoint presentation carefully at least twice. Also read the text given in the book. Draw the diagram of the cactus that I had shown here, the different adaptations of the desert plants. The rest of the lesson we will discuss in the next class. I would also like that you research a little on the topic. Try to read from different sources available on the net. And in case of any doubts, please feel free to contact me. Take care, children. Bye now.